My younger son, Madison, who has a scientific bent and a keenly logical mind, tells me that he is an atheist. He thinks that bothers me. That is actually the least thing of all that worries me about him. I just wish that he would find the right woman and get married. He's a fine man. He's a fine man with good values, and that's plenty enough for me. You see, I'm very pragmatic about belief. I really don't care what people believe. I care what they value. I care about what those beliefs do for their lives and for the people around them. I had a minister friend who had been looking for the right guy for a long time, and she thought she had found him. She told me of his many virtues, with love shining in her eyes. She said, and he has been meditating for 17 years. I thought they would marry, but the next time I was back visiting in her area, and we had a conversation, she told me that she had broken up with him. Well, what happened? I asked. She said, well, the first time we had an argument, he slapped me. What was all that meditation about, anyway? I don't care if you're a humanist, atheist, a Christian, a Jew, a Buddhist, a Muslim, or whatever. I don't care. The numinous broke through about the same time in history on this planet. That would be about 2,000 years ago. The numinous broke through, and the message from all those God figures, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, was the same core message from all of them: love. It was really that simple. And what about God? Do you believe in God or don't you? Well, I'm reminded of a time when I was interning in the Dallas church with John Burens, who subsequently became president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. So we're standing at the back of the church greeting people after the sermon that John had preached, and this individual came through the line. He was just hopping mad. He was an older man, one of the humanists in the congregation. He was red of face, and he shook his fist in the air, and he said to John, "John, you used the word God again in the service 3 times, and you know how offended I am when you do that." And John just said, "Now, George, you'd be much less offended if you just realized that when I use the word God, I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about." Do you think you know about God? Please hear the words of St. Augustine. God is not what you imagine or what you think you understand. If you understand, you have failed. If you understand, you have failed. Now, I myself am a believer. I believe in God, but that is an arbitrary choice. I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. I have given my life to a mystery. And in that sense, I am an agnostic. I just know one thing. I must give myself to something larger than myself. My life just works better that way. Perhaps Becker is right. I need to be, in some ultimate way, ignorant of myself, because living in the face of death may just be too difficult otherwise. But I will say this much: living with faith, as I try to do, and stepping into the unknown has served me well thus far. When I thought I was in charge of my life, I and I alone, when I thought that I was smart enough to call the shots all by myself, I found myself making quite a mess of things. When I put myself in service to something larger than myself, albeit something I can't begin to understand and can speak of only in metaphor, I seem to be led again and again to openings that are right for me. And so I trust life itself, experience itself, to tell me if my story, my constructed story, is sound. So let me end now with the Unitarian Universalist checklist for quality of belief. Does this belief separate me from others, or does it open me to others? Does this belief support me when things in my life fall apart? Does this belief help me develop and give my gifts? Does this belief encourage me to become a person of integrity and good character? And finally, does this belief stir love in my heart? Being fully human, and by that I mean being awake, means living with some fear and trembling from time to time. As Unitarian Universalists, you have chosen the courageous way. You have chosen to search and to question, to learn and to grow. It's not the easiest path, but it is the richest and the most fulfilling. And because this is a free faith, you will and you must choose your own way, here in community, with the support of others. Choose well. Choose what most stirs love in your heart. So be it. Amen.